welcome to Chef Richard's Kitchen. I'm Chef Richard Miller. Well, it's New Year's, and one of the things that I always like to do on New Year's is I always like to just cook a ham. You know, we've done turkey at Thanksgiving, you know, at Christmas time. You know, we might have made a soup turkey, we might have made a nice rib roast, standing rib roast or something like that. Often on New Year's, you know, let's just go back to the old standard ham. And one of the hams that I particularly like is the sweet and spicy variety that you get at Honey Bake Ham Company. And what I thought I would do is I've worked a little recipe out, and I'm not going to call it a clone because cloning means it's pretty much identical to the original. This isn't. I don't know if they use these spices or not, but the ones that I use, to me, it tastes very, very, very close to what Honey Bake's recipe is. So I'm going to not call it a clone, but I'm going to call it a similarity. You try it, you tell me what you think. So let's start out with a hickory smoked pre-cooked ham and one that's already spiral sliced. All right, you don't have to get it spiral sliced. You could take and run a knife around it and actually spiral slice it. But this is a whole lot easier and it saves you a whole lot of time. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm going to put this up for right now. And the first thing we got to do is we've got to mix our rub. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm starting out with a cup of just granulated sugar. Nothing's fancy, not confectioner's sugar, you know, not anything like that, just the regular old granulated sugar. And add to this, I'm going to add a quarter of a teaspoon of cinnamon, a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg, a quarter teaspoon of ground clove, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of Spanish paprika, a very, very, very generous pinch of allspice, and a pretty generous pinch of ginger. And now let's just go ahead and mix this all together. At first you don't think the spices, since we're only putting it in by a quarter of a teaspoon at a time, you know, is really much. But actually it comes out, you know, the flavors do shine through. But you have to make sure that you mix it well. All right, now let me bring back my ham. All right, what we're going to do now is I want to take and I want to rub this onto the ham. We actually get it up inside the spiral cut. Well, so much the better. Okay, now we have our rub on it. So let me move these out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to caramelize and crystallize the sugars on top. So give me just a second. All right, welcome back. Now, before I came back, I went ahead and I started my oven. I'm going to preheat it to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Now remember, the hams are already pre-cooked, so we don't need to go through all the process of cooking it, but we do need to reheat it. And the secret to reheating ham is kind of like you do with barbecue to keep it from drying out and getting overly burnt, low and slow. That's why I set it at 325. And we're going to set it in there for about 10 to 12 minutes per pound. And this is an 8-pound ham, so theoretically it's going to take 80 minutes. 80 to 96 minutes, something like that. But am I going to wait an hour plus before I check it? No. What I'm going to do is we want to make sure that it's up to about 180 degrees internal temperature. And so I'm going to start after about 50 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and take the temperature, then probably after 60 minutes, 70 minutes, etc., etc. And I'm going to let it go up from there because it's easier to narrow it in when you're going from low temperature up rather than find out you're way too hot and then you've dried it. So, all right, now what we have to do now is we have to kind of singe the top or the sugar mixture in here. And that's just kind of like we did with the creme brulee. And if you go back and you watch my video on creme brulee, I just took a little butane torch and went ahead and just held that up to the sugar until it crunched. The only problem with this is it's just a little bit small. On the other hand, if we use a butane torch like this, you know, it's a lot hotter flame. Keep it back because you don't want to burn it too much. Keep it back, but it'll do a lot quicker. All right, now I want just a little bit more on there. There. Okay, there it is. That's all there is to it. We've gone ahead and we've, cooked it. We've crystallized the top of this. Now all we have to do is wait for our oven to get up to 325. I'll put it in, and all we have to do is reheat it, and we're done. By the way, I did talk to a couple of people that did work for Honey Bake, and according to them, haven't seen it, but according to them, this is pretty much what they use on theirs to do the same thing. Now, I've also heard, and I've done it once, is you can put this under a broiler afterwards and leave it in there and keep watching it closely, and it will also crystallize the sugar on here. But hey, every once in a while you just have a desire to take a blowtorch to something And here, this gives us a perfect excuse. So let me wait for the oven to come up to temperature, and I'll be right back. All right, it's been actually about 80 minutes, and the temperature, the internal temperature of the ham is up to 140 degrees. I think I said 180 degrees earlier. That is incorrect. It actually should be about 140 degrees. If you cooked a pre-cooked ham up to 180 degrees, it'd probably be drier than the Sahara. So, all right, first off, let's go ahead and let's take our vegetables out. I put a few carrots in there, and I like these small carrots because they look much better when you plate. I also prefer when I do roasted carrots rather than just boiled. Roasting just gives them a whole different depth and flavor, and personally I like them a whole lot better than just the ones that are boiled. So anyway, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and cut the ham here. Here we are down to the pre-sliced sections. And so let's go ahead . Delicious. You taste the ham, you taste the hickory smoke, but in the background, and you taste the sugar and you taste the spices. All in all, to me, it tastes like a honey baked ham. Now, what my taste buds might interpret as tasting like a honey based, and what yours might be different. So, you know, if you make this and you say, nah, it's just not right, well, it's not exact, but it sure comes awful close. And I'll bet you if you serve this to your guests, they're going to love it. So, let's go ahead and we can now plate. Such. Let me go ahead and put a few of these carrots on there. I'm also going to take some of our juice and I'm going to put it over the ham. And then I'm also going to put a little bit of garnish. On here. And here we have it. This is a ham. You know, it's really, really good. It's really, really easy. Give it a try. It tastes like one of the best hams that's out there for a fraction of the cost. So, give it a try. Let me know. Let me know how you come out. I'm always, interested in hearing how my viewers do. So, remember, take care. God bless. Remember to go ahead and give a thumbs up for this. Even better yet, subscribe. And let me know how you do. Send me a comment or send me an email at chefrdmiller@att.net. And let me know how you do. So, in the meantime, Remember that cooking is always fun. Don't let it ever get to you. Don't let it intimidate you. It should always be fun. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you next episode. Bye for now.